We're back on the Foxymations channel, a place where the bedtime stories you grew up with are transformed into analog horror, disturbing and deeply unsettling tales. This time, I bring you a full explanation of the entire series, starting with Little Red Riding Hood, moving through the Three Little Pigs, and ending with Hansel and Gretel. All of these stories exist within the same universe in this series, which now seems to have reached its conclusion. As you may have noticed, I've finally changed my avatar. Many of you had asked for it, so here it is. I want to give a huge thanks to Golork, the artist behind this incredible work. I'll leave a link to his profile in the description in case any of you are interested. Before we begin, I want to thank everyone who responded to the pinned comment in the last video and for the incredible support the channel has been receiving lately. We've already hit 6,000 subscribers and are still growing, which motivates me to keep creating more videos for you. With that said, remember that if you want to be featured in the next video, just reply to the pinned comment where you'll find this question. Which children's story would you like Foxymations to turn into analog horror next? If I had to choose, I'd love to see Alice in Wonderland get the analog horror treatment. Without further ado, don't forget to leave your precious like and subscribe to help the channel grow and reach more people. Every like is one more coin to escape poverty. If you're not sure what to comment, just type meow in the comment section and I'll give you a heart in return. Comments are super important and help the video a lot, so don't forget to leave yours. Welcome to the explanation of Foxymations' analog horror series. The video begins in Little Red Riding Hood's house, where her mother delivers some troubling news. Her grandmother is ill and urgently needs a basket of candies they've prepared. Surprised, Little Red expresses concern about making the journey at such a late hour. Despite her hesitation, her mother insists that the basket must reach the grandmother immediately. Summoning her courage, Little Red grabs the basket from the table and prepares to set off into the forest. Before she leaves, her mother sternly warns her not to speak to any strangers under any circumstances. It's clear that the basket doesn't actually contain candies, but rather medication. After all, sweets don't cure illnesses. And honestly, what mother in her right mind would let her daughter wander through a forest alone at night? At the very least, she could accompany her, right? The scene abruptly shifts to Little Red, already making her way through the forest. The surroundings are dark, though her flashlight offers her some sense of security. As she ventures deeper, she comes across the lifeless bodies of several animals, creating an intensely eerie atmosphere. A rabbit's corpse warns her to leave the forest as quickly as possible. But before she can react, the one responsible for the carnage appears.
What's this? Dead animals?
He did it. You need to run. Get out of here as fast as you can. Go now. Ow, 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 ow.
What are you doing at this forest at this time?
Who are you?
trust me. I'm your new friend now. Tell me, where are you going, little girl?
I'm just going to my grandma's house. She's sick and needs me.
Thanks for telling me. See you later.
The wolf introduces himself politely, insisting that she can trust him as he tries to win her over. Terrified and naively unaware of the danger, Little Red inadvertently reveals her grandmother's location, giving the wolf the perfect opportunity to strike. Predictably, the wolf hurries to the grandmother's house under the pretense of wanting to care for her, arriving long before Little Red. He knocks on the door and, though the grandmother is initially suspicious, she convinces herself it must be her granddaughter and decides to open it. Big mistake.
Who's there?
It's your granddaughter, Grandma.
Hello?
Don't come here. He will found you.
The scene shifts back to Little Red, still making her way through the forest. Suddenly, she has another encounter with the wolf, who chillingly tells her,
Don't rush, little girl. Things have already happened. There is no salvation for her.
Terrified, Little Red runs as fast as she can and finally reaches her grandmother's house, thinking she'll be safe there. However, she finds the door open and has no idea why. Inside, the house is shrouded in darkness, and, to make matters worse, her grandmother is nowhere to be found. The mounting sense of dread, fueled by the wolf's presence, drives her to frantically search for a hiding spot. She makes her way through the house and eventually reaches the last door, entirely unaware of the horror waiting behind it.
Hey, Granny. I bought you a basket of sweets. Where are you? Granny?
Come closer. 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 Come closer.
Your grand is gone. Now it's your turn.
The wolf, tired of his game, finally decides to end her life as well.
You can hide from him, Mom. He will find you.
In the end, it's revealed that her mother's fate is also sealed. There's no escape, no place to hide. The psychopathic wolf is already there. The next chapter begins with Little Red Riding Hood's mother's house, where it is finally revealed that the wolf also ended her life. Additionally, the state of his 3 victims is shown, painting a bleak and horrifying picture. The scene then shifts to the protagonist of this second chapter, the hunter. He is introduced alongside a chilling message.
Where were you? When did it all happen? When do we all die, Hansel? Kill the wolf. Kill the wolf. Kill the wolf.
Determined to accomplish his mission, the hunter ventures into the forest where the sinister killer committed his crimes. He knows that 3 people and countless animals have already fallen victim. During his search, he encounters more dead animals scattered throughout the woods.
Wow, dead animals? Well, I expected to find them.
He's not just a wolf. You need to kill him. He has our souls. Save me, please. Behind you.
At one point, the hunter begins to suspect he's hallucinating after hearing that corpse speak to him. However, he dismisses the thought and presses on. Eventually, he arrives at the home of one of the victims, Little Red Riding Hood's mother. The hunter enters the house and readies his weapon. He carefully inspects each room, initially finding nothing significant, until he detects a foul odor coming from behind a door. Upon opening it, he discovers Little Red's mother's lifeless body. Nearby, he finds a handwritten note left by her that reads,
"I don't know how long I'll hide. I feel him approaching."
You will be next.
At that moment, the hunter senses something drawing near.
So this is the wolf. Where did he go?
Bullets don't work, Hansel. It's too late to save them.
I need to run before he catches me.
Realizing the danger, the hunter decides to flee before he too is captured and meets the same fate as the corpse he found earlier. After a long walk, he reaches the grandmother's house, all the while pursued by the wolf, who taunts him, warning that he will meet the same end as the others. Inside the house, the hunter barricades the door with furniture, preventing the wolf from getting in. However, he soon realizes that the door isn't the only way in.
Oh no, he came in through the window. He's hunting me. I can hear his footsteps. What the hell is this? What did he do to her?
Discovering what remains of Little Red, the hunter hides in a side room, though it reeks of something foul. Investigating further, he finds the grandmother's corpse and, to his horror, the wolf standing next to her.
You have nowhere to escape. Your fate is sealed. You will end up like them.
You couldn't save them. You are a failure. You deserve this fate.
In the end, it is revealed that after his death, Hansel will be tormented for all eternity alongside the souls he was unable to avenge.
You didn't save us. You didn't save us. You didn't save us. Now we are doomed forever. Now we are doomed forever. Now we are doomed forever. You're one of us now, Hansel. You're one of us now, Hansel. You're one of us now, Hansel. You are mine.
This new installment takes place after the events of Little Red Riding Hood, and as we can see on screen, the story is told in the format of an educational game. After leaving their mother's home, the three little pigs each decide to build their own house. The first pig opts for a straw house because it's quick and easy to build. The second, putting in a bit more effort, uses wooden sticks. Meanwhile, the third pig invests time and dedication into constructing a solid brick house. They are fully aware that a murderous wolf lurks outside, and they need a safe refuge to protect themselves. As night falls, the pig with the straw house begins to feel cold and decides to go inside for shelter. Unfortunately for him, his executioner is already there. The wolf starts banging loudly on the door, demanding to be let in, intent on destroying it. Naturally, the pig refuses, but it makes no difference. His fate is sealed. The wolf breaks through the door and brutally murders him. The psychopath leaps onto him, tearing his face apart with his claws. From what we've seen so far, this seems to be his preferred method of killing. An interesting detail here is that we can see the physical scars left from his encounter with Hansel. Next, we are introduced to the second pig, whose house is made of sticks. However, at one point, the tormented spirit of Hansel appears. His words seem nonsensical at first, but when the audio is reversed, we can hear the true message.
Save me. Please help us. Save us.
As we've seen so far, we are dealing with a ruthless, psychopathic entity, pure evil incarnate, whose only goal is to spread fear and despair wherever it goes, inflicting as much psychological and physical torment as possible on its victims before ending their lives. Perhaps this is how it feeds, by consuming the suffering of the souls it traps in these traumatic events. All those killed by the wolf seem to exist in a state of eternal agony. The question remains, can anyone free them from their suffering? Following this, both the moon and the sun, which previously had happy expressions, now look much more serious and concerned about the horrors unfolding, and things are only about to get worse. Despite offering more protection than the first, the second pig's house won't be much help either. The wolf knocks on the door again, this time pretending to be his brother. He could break through the door at any moment without effort, but as we've already seen, he enjoys toying with his victims before tearing them apart. And so, just as expected, the second pig meets a gruesome end. As in the original story of the Three Little Pigs, we are finally introduced to the last pig. However, before he can finish building his house, He receives a message from his dead brothers. They beg him to sacrifice himself along with the wolf. If he manages to burn the creature, all the trapped souls will finally be freed and allowed to rest in peace. This confirms what we already suspected. The wolf is a supernatural entity that traps the souls of those he kills, forcing them into an endless cycle of suffering. Determined to put an end to this nightmare, the third pig finishes building his brick house, gathers gasoline and a lighter, and prepares to carry out his plan once and for all. Night falls, and the wolf knocks on the door once more. Only this time, it will be his last. The pig knows exactly who is outside. He lets the wolf in and, with the lighter in hand, sets everything ablaze. As the souls are finally released, the wolf's own spirit emerges, revealing shocking new information.
I have been corrupted. The witch did this for my thirst for revenge. I wanted to have a happy ending, but what's left for me is to burn eternally in hell for my actions. But I don't regret anything. I would kill more. I really like this. Gretel, go after the witch and free your brother. Hansel's soul is not saved like the others.
The wolf was once a human child, consumed by such an overwhelming thirst for vengeance that he became a ruthless, psychopathic killer. It is highly likely that the mastermind behind everything, the witch, took advantage of this and corrupted him, transforming him into the monstrous figure we know today. Despite knowing that his soul is doomed to burn in hell for eternity, the wolf confesses that he has no regrets and would do it all over again. After all, this darkness was inside him long before he became what he is now. Before vanishing, he leaves a final message for Gretel, Hansel's well-known sister and the next protagonist of this story. Hansel has not been freed yet. Gretel must defeat the witch to save his soul. In the end, what appears to be the witch emerges, taking the wolf's lifeless body away. We have reached the final stretch of this story. Here we will uncover the truth behind it all. We find ourselves in Gretel's house, where she lies asleep in her bed. Perhaps sleep is her only escape from the deep concern she feels for her brother. Suddenly, a supernatural force knocks over a photo of him, startling Gretel awake. It is then that she comes face to face with her brother's soul, who desperately begs her to save him. And from what we can see, his presence causes the paintings to change. One of them now depicts Little Red Riding Hood with the wolf. Gretel can't believe what she's seeing, and to make matters worse, she notices that Hansel's figure appears lifeless. She recalls the last time she saw him. It was 3 days ago when he left to hunt the wolf lurking in the forest. This moment also serves as a subtle nod to the comments on Hansel's video, where viewers pointed out that despite his weapon resembling an AK-47 at first glance, it actually functioned like a shotgun. Despite trying to convince herself that what she just witnessed was nothing but her imagination, a lingering unease remains. She gets up and notices a note left on the floor, one written by Hansel's spirit.
Gretel, save me. Follow the breadcrumbs on the path. Don't trust her.
Convinced that her brother is in danger, Gretel knows she must act. She grabs her pistol and begins following the breadcrumbs Hansel left behind. She ventures deep into the darkest part of the forest, eventually arriving at the brick house built by the third little pig. Unsurprisingly, It is now completely destroyed after the events of the previous chapter. Though the sight unsettles her, she cannot afford to be distracted and continues forward. Similarly, Gretel stumbles upon Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother's house, yet once again, she chooses not to dwell on it. Unbeknownst to her, tragic events have unfolded in both locations. At one point, she briefly catches a glimpse of Hansel's soul. However, before she can interact with him, his spectral figure vanishes just as quickly as it appeared. Trapped between doubt and desperation, Gretel begins to question her own sanity after witnessing such eerie apparitions. After some time, she finally reaches the end of the path. The breadcrumbs lead her to a house made of candy. She wonders why her brother wanted her to come here. She will soon find out.
How can I help you? Did you like my house?
Hi. I just want to know if you've seen my brother.
Come in, it's cold out there. I know how I can help you.
So this is her who I shouldn't trust? Why is her house so dark?
Sit down, my dear. Would you like something to eat?
No, I just want to know if you saw my brother.
What's your name and when was the last time you saw him?
Hansel. He is a hunter. He said he went hunting a wolf and hasn't come back for 3 days.
A wolf? I'm so sorry.
What do you mean?
Gretel is puzzled by the witch's words and asks her to be more clear. The witch then begins to recount the story of the wolf, finally revealing who the boy was before his transformation. A long time ago, there was a boy who was relentlessly bullied for being weak and fragile. The abuse he suffered was so intense that he was always left in tears, drowning in despair. His home was the only place where he felt safe, where he could be himself and find happiness. But one day, the same people who tormented him daily burned his home to the ground. And at that moment, something inside him broke. He became someone entirely different. He had lost everything. His safe haven no longer existed. Something in his mind snapped, and he began to do terrible things. Consumed by vengeance, he carried out a massacre, but instead of feeling disturbed or overwhelmed, the act made him feel good. This was the precise moment he transformed into the psychopathic killer we now know, indiscriminately taking the lives of people who had nothing to do with his suffering. Yet in time, even that was not enough for him. Seeking more power, he went to the witch's house and begged her to turn him into an immortal creature, one akin to a wolf. He wanted no one to stop him. He wished to kill and spread chaos for all eternity. The witch agreed to help him, but the price was his very soul. As part of the ritual, the boy slaughtered a helpless wolf to complete his transformation. However, before she began, the witch needed to know his greatest fear. Without hesitation, the boy answered,
Fire.
The witch informed him that she could indeed turn him into a bloodthirsty wolf, an unstoppable and immortal being. However, she warned him that he must never go near fire, for it would be his only weakness and the one thing capable of ending him. This revelation confirms what was already suspected. The wolf harbored souls within itself. That is why, In some way, they knew its weakness, ultimately leading to its demise. Upon finishing her tale, Gretel reaches a chilling conclusion. The witch had just revealed that this wolf was responsible for her brother's death. However, she refuses to believe her words and prepares to leave, but the witch insists she should not go, warning her about the rain. While Gretel could still leave, she realizes that Hansel did not lead her here without reason. This strange woman must be hiding something. As she is lost in thought, Hansel's soul briefly materializes beside her. In the end, Gretel decides to stay. The witch then tells her that her room is upstairs, but warns her not to go down to the basement, whose bloodstained door suggests something sinister lies within. Though she stays, Gretel has no intention of sleeping. Her instincts tell her that her brother is somewhere in this house, and she must find him as soon as possible. However, likely exhausted, she collapses onto the bed and drifts into sleep. In the dream world she enters, she finally has the long-awaited reunion with her brother. But this dream quickly turns into a nightmare.
Hansel?
Your brother is dead.
A nightmare?
Upon waking, she realizes she has dozed off by accident. And worse, the door to her room is now wide open, even though she clearly remembers closing it. Something is very wrong. Determined to uncover the truth, Gretel finally decides to investigate. Armed with her pistol, she ventures into the dark hallways of the house. As she explores, she comes across a door. Without hesitation, she enters. Inside, she finds the charred corpse of the wolf, and in its right hand, it holds the key to the basement. Without a second thought, Gretel takes the key, determined to descend unnoticed. However, what she doesn't realize is that she is doing exactly what the witch wants. At last, she manages to enter, desperately hoping to find her brother there. Once inside, Gretel discovers a strange book containing instructions on how to kill both the wolf and the witch herself. But why would someone own a book with instructions on how to kill themselves? Perhaps this is Hansel's way of communicating and helping his sister, though admittedly, it is a bit strange. Nevertheless, the book states that to kill the witch, Gretel must shoot her in the head, the right shoulder, and the heart, in that order. Before she can even react, the witch appears, and using her power to control the wolf's corpse, she manages to capture Gretel.
Where am I? Who arrested me? You? Let me go now.
Here, we uncover the witch's true plan and the biggest plot twist of the entire series. Every appearance, of Hansel's soul that we've seen so far has been a lie, mere hallucinations conjured by the witch to lure Gretel toward her. Her goal? To claim both Gretel's soul and her body. All the bodies she had collected with the wolf's help were empty, soulless, except for hers and her brother's. Her ultimate objective was to gather as many souls as possible to become unstoppable, but now, she can only claim theirs. That's right, Hansel isn't dead. He is barely clinging to life, his body shattered and broken. But what Gretel is about to witness next is something she will never forget.
Help me.
Now that I have your brother's soul, all I have left is your Gretel. Come here.
Give me your soul.
Finally, following the book's instructions, Gretel manages to defeat the witch and free her brother's soul. However, the witch's spirit curses Gretel, reminding her that she failed to save her brother's life and ending with a bitter wish for her death. At that moment, the wolf's soul appears, ready to drag her away by force to where they truly belong, the depths of hell itself. After an undefined period, we see Gretel standing before Hansel's gravestone. Though she was unable to save his body, she hopes his soul can finally rest in peace. It is then that Hansel's spirit appears, reassuring her that he can now find peace at last. And so, we reach the end. A good ending, where both the witch and the wolf burn in hell, paying for all they have done. The series concludes on a positive note, showing the witch consumed by flames in the depths of hell. Well, that brings this amazing analog horror series to an end. Honestly, I can't wait to see what Foxymations comes up with next. Considering the final text, could this mean that a bad ending will be released at some point? Only time will tell. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love reading them. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to support this one as much as possible and share it with as many people as you can. Also, make sure to follow me on my other social media, where I post exclusive short content you won't find on YouTube. And remember, you can now become a channel member. Just click the join button next to the subscribe button to enjoy tons of perks and exclusive emojis while supporting me. If you're interested, join in. I'll be forever grateful. Oh, and one last thing. This video was made by a cat, and cats can't talk. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.